Black. It's such a happy colour, don't you think?
What was he like? He was always a rather stupidly optimistic man. I mean, I'm afraid it came as a great shock to him when he died, but he was found dead at home. His head had been cut off, and so had his, you know. I had been out all evening at the movies.
Do you miss him?
Well, it's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life.
But he was your second husband. Your first husband also disappeared.
But that was his job. He was an illusionist.
But he never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and welcome back. Yes, as I lick my lips, or rather lick the lipstick off my lips if there's any on there, I do apologise. But if you're here to embrace flaws, to embrace unconventionality, you've clicked onto the right channel. So in today's video, we are scenting yet again fragrance with the movies. And we're not talking Barbie. No, we're not. Who's ever bought a Barbie with black hair? There might be a Barbie that exists with black hair. This is the only pink that I intend on doing because my nails are vampy burgundy, my lips are deep dark, and dare I say gothic. We don't do Barbie, do we? Well, some do Barbie, but I wanted to represent one of my all-time favourite films, a 90s film, late 90s film, 98, 99, that came out in the late 90s, that, let's face it, it made Heathers look tame. So we are talking Jawbreaker. Yes, scents that will break your jaw. Have you ever had your jaw broken? Yes. I know. I feel like Kim Woodburn. Do you love Kim Woodburn? If you do, give a like. If you don't, just give a like anyway. And if you absolutely hate her, then subscribe. So, Jawbreaker came out, I think it was the end of 1998, beginning of 1999. It was a film unlike no other. I didn't discover the film till probably about a year later when I watched it on video, and my God, yes, it was me to a T. Do you like the film Jawbreaker? Rose McGowan, Julie Benz, Rebecca Gayheart, Judy Greer. Who else is in it? PJ Soles and William Catt play cameos. And also, I do believe Pam Grier is in it as well. And also Miss Sherwood. Do you know who I mean? What's in it? Carol Kane. Yes, Carol Kane. She was in When a Stranger Calls about 20 plus years previous to that film. A younger Carol Kane. And she was also in the film Scrooged. She played the fairy. And whenever I watch that film, Richard says to me, "You're that fairy, Gabby." Do you know what I mean? Electra. My pussy's purring. I'll just be back in 1 moment. So let's start with the main character. If you don't know the film, watch the trailer. Oh yes. Oh yes. Watch the trailer on YouTube. It's a fantastic trailer. Basically, the synopsis is there's this 4 popular girls, makes Mean Girls look like nothing on earth. They were the popular ones, and they play a prank on one of their friends, Liz Purr. Gags her with a Jawbreaker suite, puts duct tape on. They've all got these ski masks on, or these masks on. Get in the car. Yeah, let's play a prank on her. Open up the boot to wish her happy birthday. As they take the camera, she's dead. She swallowed the Jawbreaker. Hence, Judy Greer finds out she's the girl, the wannabe popular girl. They make her over to silence her. But she gets her revenge by being a popular girl. And then ultimately, Rebecca Gayheart and Judy Greer team up and bring Courtney down. because she makes it look like a murder scene, and she's been raped when she hasn't. Marilyn Manson even makes a guest appearance in it. So yeah, the ending is brilliant. Brilliant. So how would I scent the Queen Bee herself, Rose McGowan, who plays Courtney Alice Shane, who loves a bit of kink, doesn't she? I would scent her. This is going to have a theme to it, and you'll know why. I'm going to scent her the Queen Bee Poison. She rules with fear. She struts her stuff, and she's intelligent, she's articulate. I mean, let's face it, the film has so many good one-liners. You're my Violet, she says. To who was Fern, she makes Violet up. And they turn to Judy, they turn to Rebecca Gayheart and say, who plays Julie, learn it, live it, love it. That's my motto in life, if you know me. It's honeyed tuberose and incense, and it's sweet when it dries down. Vintage Hypnotic Poison. No, not Hypnotic. Vintage Poison by Dior. I've had it so long the writing has rubbed off. This is just, you want somebody that's kinky. You want somebody that's seductive, that's alluring, that pulls all the stops out. If you send roses to her, she will just throw them away and destroy you mentally. That's what she says. Yes. And I'm wearing a rose. Well, Rose McGowan. I love the actress. She was in Charmed as well. She was in Scream. Let's face it, the girls that played a 17-year-old in this film were a good 7-8 years older. They're about 24, 25 years old. Some were 26, I think. Claude's tail is just getting up in the air there. So yes, Dior Poison. She is one of those characters, Courtney Shane, Rose McGowan, that is just, she uses you, she abuses you, she befriends you, and she's all nice. And then the look. Poison. Let's scent Julie, who's played by Rebecca Gayheart. And she is, I think, about 50 now, or even 51 even. Yeah. Oh, Electra, hello. She's getting on the act. If you could just see her paw there. I have pussies all around me. My pussies won't leave me alone. I'm going to scent Rebecca Gayheart, who plays Julie. It was hard scenting her. I was going to scent her another scent, because she is that sweet girl, but you mess with her in the film and she gets her revenge on you. And I think she's a slight goth as well at heart, even though she's girly. She's got the flicked hair, and she's all smiling. Do you remember in the film Urban Legend? Yes. Well, she was smiling for all the wrong reasons in that film. Let me tell you, if you've not seen that film, that's another cult film, not Urban Legends 2, the original one. I would scent Rebecca Gayheart, the girl that breaks away, that has rules, and she breaks the girl code. And I like a bit of a rebel like that. So I think there's quite a little bit of a rebellious scent in itself. Midnight Poison. Yes, this video's having a vibe, as you can tell. This is sweet vanilla, but not too sweet, with rose and orange and patchouli. It's roses. But the rose in here is slightly sharp and thorny. To me, I tested, and I think, in my opinion, Noir. I had a small sample Noir by Tom Ford. I think it was Parfum, I think. And it has a little bit of this vibe to it, mixed with a little bit of Armagh Club de Nuit, just a touch, like 5 or 10%. And this is so beautiful, this scent, so beautiful. And I think it suits Julie, Rebecca Gayheart, because it is a little bit of rebellious scent. She doesn't like the fact that Courtney has brought her into this web with Marcy Fox, the three of them, in killing, not intentionally, but accidentally killing the fourth friend, Liz Purr. And she doesn't like it. And she's a sweet girl. And I think there's a bit of sweetness in here, but there's a twisted edge to it. She, there's a saying in the film, she says something to Courtney Shane, and she says, I am going to bring you down. And Courtney Shane says to Julie, I'm petrified. Yes, that's what the Queen Bee would say. But Midnight Poison, this is just decadent, and it suits Julie to a T. And if you're sweet but rebellious, and you want to do the right thing, and you're a bit of a goth girl, and you're conflicted like Julie is, Midnight Poison's your girl. Let's move on to Marcy. Now, Marcy, it was quite easy scenting Marcy, because I was going to scent Julie with another scent, but I went for Marcy. Marcy Fox, played by Julie Benz. Incidentally, the actor that plays her father plays Kaniki in Grease, who's now deceased. And there's a scene where he's saying, oh, where's my little Marcy? And he does a Tiffany song. I think we're alone now. And she gets up. She thinks, oh, my God, you are just embarrassing now. Julie Benz, she was, if ever you loved Dexter, she played the girlfriend of Dexter about 10 years later, I think. And that was really, I'm only up to season 2 of Dexter. Yeah. And it was made, 10 plus years ago, but there we go. So Marcy, not Julie Benz, but Marcy herself, I would send to Pure Poison, because she's the dependable one. She's the one that is there by your side, and she's sweet, and she's naive, and she's playful, but she's got a little bit of a spiteful edge to her. And I think the orange blossom in this fragrance can come off sometimes a little bit spiky. It's very, yes, there's Marcy, Foxy. Yes, she's a bit ditzy in the film as well, and she just goes along with what Courtney says. And I think the orange blossom in this, and let's face it, it's got jasmine in. Jasmine is everywhere. And if jasmine was, now don't come for me when I say this, if jasmine was a follower or a leader, I would say jasmine is a follower in fragrance, because there's jasmine in everywhere. It just follows in every fragrance. But there's not too much jasmine in here. The orange blossom is that. The jasmine is the fun, sweet, nice. But the orange blossom can be a little bit tart and sharp. And I love that about this. Many facets. I love the Poison range, as you know. And I think, let's face it, would any of these be in the Barbie film? I think not. So, Pure Poison, if you're a Marcy Fox, foxy girl, sweet, dependable, a follower, but a little bit of a quirky girl, then Pure Poison is your girl. It sent the geeky dweeb, which was Fern Mayo, played by Judy Greer, who incidentally went on to 13 going on 30 a few years later, about 7 or 8 years later, which I liked her in that. She played a bit of a in that film. And she was also in What Women Want. And she was also in one of the Jurassic Park films, and she was also in one or two of the Halloween films. She played Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. Yeah. So she is this geeky dweeb that overhears a conversation between Julie, Courtney, and Marcy. And they pull her in and say, look, we know who you are, Fern. Let's make you over. Let's silence you. Let's make you one of the popular girls. And I think this scent is really good because there's a scene in that where she's smelling this flower, sweet and tender. And then she sees this huge insect. That's the tender poison. Green and sweet, but ultimately, although she's tender, don't let that mistake you, because the poison does come out. Because she becomes so popular that Courtney says to her, I can make you, and I can break you. And she just takes a whiff of cigarette, blows it in her face. Yeah, they all smoked then. And she says, on a clear day, Courtney, you can see forever. I know your secret. That's when the poison comes out. And I think although this has many facets, when it's first sprayed, it smells so lovely and ethereal. And as it dries down, the facets just grow into this deep, almost forest-like, with deep foliage and all of the flowers that just look lovely, but are deadly. That's what tender poison is. And I think it suits her to a T. But she does ultimately get her revenge on Courtney. She does. Because at the very ending, her and Julie, and Julie's boyfriend at the time, they have a recording. And as she's being prom queen, the recording is played. And the stage is set. And everybody looks at her in shock. I killed the teen dream, she says. Get over it. And they just look at her and the walk of shame, and she's found out. And I think that Tender Poison really suits Judy Greer, who plays Fern Mayo, because she's this sweet, tender flower that's then bloomed into this beautiful. She's almost Carrie-like, and then when she's made over, she looks so beautiful and doll-like, with short pixie blonde hair, urchin cut, and she just looks beautiful. But she's deadly. She's your girl, Tender Poison. And lastly, what has the whole vibe of the film? I'm not going to talk about this a lot, really, she says. But I'm going to go with Hypnotic Poison because it's probably the sweetest out of all the scents, vintage Hypnotic Poison. It came out in 1998. I think the sweet popular girls would have been wearing this, going out clubbing. We still do. And it is vanilla with a little bit of floral, but hardly any. This kind of almost like bitter almond, which is the kind of bite to it. Let's face it, Jawbreaker, it's sweet, it's candy-like. Although this isn't candy-like, it still has, it's dripping in sweet vanilla as it dries down. Vintage, I'm talking about. It's dreamy but it is hypnotic. There is something in it that just draws you in. And I think the whole film, from the cinematography, from the outfits, from the dialogue, from the whole ambience of the film, it just draws into this sweet, deadly these sweet, deadly characters that are all mean girls and are vying for attention, and ultimately the price is paid because the top queen bee falls, and ultimately the sweet girls win. What an ending. What a jawbreaker. So those were my scents, scenting Jawbreaker. Any anti-Barbie fans? Would you love Barbie? I loved Barbie as a kid, but now I wouldn't watch Barbie. Now, I want to just be more deadly. So if you've enjoyed that video, all light aside, all jokes aside, and you want to give us a like and subscribe, then that's fine. And if you don't, just keep on watching me. And I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, learn it, live it, love it. Bye.